I'm David Scobey. I've been part of bringing theory to practice for many years, times when I was a faculty member and also a dean. Right now, I'm senior scholar at an organization called the Graduate Network that helps adult returning college students return to college. The conference is especially meaningful to me, I would say, for two reasons. One, as a veteran of the Bringing Theory to Practice project, I really appreciate the turn towards the theme of intersectionality and more broadly of diversity and inclusion and equity in our work. I think we've been doing great work in supporting students, but this extends it in a really important way. And I really admire the conference for taking on this new theme. The second thing I really appreciate about the conference has to do with my own work. Over the past several years, I've become passionate about the needs of adult non-traditional college students who are often ignored or misunderstood by academics, faculty, academic institutions. And I really appreciate that the conference invited me to do a workshop on adult non-traditional students because it signals greater and greater attention to their needs. I think both of those changes in the conference represent something really important and meaningful in the work of bringing theory to practice. When I think about what I'd like to take away from the conference, it actually has to do with both of those themes. The conference has made me think in new ways about the relationship between intersectionality, that is, the complicated, multiple intersecting needs and identities that students have, about the relationship between that theme and our commitment to teaching and supporting the student as a whole person. I think this framework of seeing students as having intersecting needs, challenges, strengths, struggles, is a really helpful way of understanding the new non-traditional majority of college students. These are students who are workers, are parents, come to school with financial and economic challenges and economic aspirations, often want to come back to college in order to pay forward their commitment to their community. And in all of these ways, we need to understand their needs as integrated, as complicated, as intersecting. And the theme of the conference helps me and helps us to do that. So I'm definitely gonna carry that connection between the framework of intersectionality and the needs of non-traditional students as I move forward. And this kind of grouping of concerns and themes seems especially important, urgent at this moment, I think, for a couple of reasons. One is obviously the election. We've come to a moment of deep polarization in the United States, not just political polarization, but polarization along lines of race and class, and maybe even most of all, educational polarization. We know that in the election, white American voters polarized very strongly between non-college going and college-educated voters who overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump, and college-educated white voters who overwhelmingly voted for Hillary Clinton. That's a problem for all kinds of reasons. We can't have a society in which attainment of college becomes a marker of division rather than of inclusion and community building in the society. So this work of understanding how to support and teach students as whole people, support their well-being across all the divisions of our society, is especially urgent now. And the second reason why this conference comes at a really urgent time has to do with this theme of adult non-traditional students that I spoke about earlier. These students are now the large majority of American college students. Only about 1/4 of undergraduates fit the traditional profile of the recent high schooler who's attending college full time. And yet, despite this majority of students is either largely ignored or often misunderstood. It's often assumed that adult working students all they want is a quick, accelerated, pretty thin, new kind of workforce training for their next job. These students have economic anxieties and hopes, but they also want the richest kind of education. They want to come to college as the kind of whole person we've been talking about in this conference. And this is a moment within higher education in which we need to grapple with that. So both for the current political situation and this emerging educational crisis, the conference comes at an important time.